Since the beginning of time, man has dreamed of mounting weapons onto his car to chase down adversaries, makes those pay who have wronged him. So we've created the next best thing, a water cannon with adjustable aim, 1 gallon capacity, and the ability to strike enemies from 25 feet away, making for the most epic water fight battles. Squirts of freedom, some might say. Squirts that keep those passengers busy, and that hair frizzy. We present to you the off-road water cannon. Let's get to it.
So why would we want an off-road water cannon for our vehicles? Well, aside from impressing the neighborhood moms and your pets, the main reason would be the same as to why we'd want an RC car and why we'd want a side-by-side. Simple, for fun. So let's show you how to make your own water cannon setup, and of course you can also buy any of these components shown here today at heatswarm.com. So this is the machine gun, obviously just a showpiece and doesn't affect the water cannon. I did design this on the computer, and probably the most time consuming part dialing it in. It is made of highly durable PETG plastic. Obviously you don't need the gun to make the water cannon, but it's just one of those things that adds to the look. It has holes in the back and the bottom for the routing depending on your setup. The second part of this kit is the water tank holder. This guy here sits on your cup holder, and you slide in your 1 gallon water tank to it so it can hold it securely instead of it rolling around in your vehicle. And of course, if you're making this kit yourself, you can always just leave the water tank resting on the seat or bungeed somewhere. Or if you want this piece alone, you can order it separately or as a kit at heatswarm.com. The water tank component is directly from a US manufacturer. I selected this model because it has a long distance sprayer while most just have a misting spray. It also has heavy duty seals, so if you wanted to add a few drops of bleach in your water to use as a water cannon hand wash station, it won't destroy the seals inside the tank. I also noticed when you buy the cheap sprayers, eventually the pumping action deteriorates, and before you know it, you're struggling to pump. The tubing components I use will vary for you depending on the type of water tank you buy, as they all have different sizing. But this is what I use to extend the nozzle to be able to mount it to the front. The most expensive part of this kit is unfortunately the brass fittings. I did try to make most of them in the 3D printer, but the flow rate just wasn't as good. Here's the pieces I used, and here's the components I tried to make myself. If I do master them, I'll eventually be able to add them to the kit and drop the price significantly, so stay tuned for that. And here's a picture of all the kit together so you can see it all as one. And here's some different mounting options if you didn't want to get the gun and you want to make it yourself. Remember, zip ties are your friend. Let's get to the install. First, you need to clean off your surface with warm water. Oh, and let me show you, if you aren't using the double-sided tape for install, you can screw the gun mount directly to the surface, which makes these tiny little holes. I recommend this mounting method better as it's more secure. The double-sided tape is very heavy duty and survived the day of off-roading, but I'm not sure how many intense days of heat and hard riding it survives. When we want to wipe it down with 99% alcohol, and these wipes are included in the kit as well. Make sure it dries well first. So now we're going to mount the gun holder with the double-sided tape that's included in the kit. It is very heavy duty and meant for plastic and metal, but then again, I have no idea how long it would last doing jumps, rolling your ride a few times, or in the height of summer or winter. So that's why I do recommend drilling it in just so it could be a little bit more secure. So now we're going to install the machine gun to the mount. So we're going to match these up. You can see there's pre-drilled holes on the side, and that's for the positioning. I'll show you later. So first we're going to slide in this pin on the side. That's just to secure it in place so it doesn't fly off. And then we have another part here that we secure with the side. So now to actually position the angle of the gun, we're going to screw in the screws on the side and wiggle the gun a little bit so it goes into the pre-drilled holes. And we're going to do that same thing with the other side. But remember, you got to make sure it goes into the pre-drilled holes. If you make your own hole because you don't hit it, it might break the bracket as you're pushing it in trying to make a hole. Another thing, it also has an adjustment screw, and that's on the bottom of the barrel. And if you tighten it, it makes the nozzle go a little bit up, and that's just in case you want to fine tune the angles. Here I did make some lights for it that I'm going to put inside of it, and that's just for my own benefit. It's not included in the kit, and I'm just using the flasher kit. And if you don't know how to wire one up, you can look up my video installing turn signals. It's pretty much the same thing. So this is the angle you want to have the maximum spray distance of 25 feet. And of course you can see the adjustment screw right there at the bottom and the nozzle that gets pointed up. So now let's try it out. So I was able to hit my drone and it actually made it malfunction and crash. Here's another fun use for it. You can chase around the kids and hose them down if they're dirty. Of course, you never want to operate the gun while your vehicle is moving because that's dangerous, and I am a professional driver. And you can see there's orange tips on it, and those are included with the kit because it is a federal law that includes orange tips on any fake guns. So those are duct taped on there and do not remove them. Here's something you shouldn't be doing as well, and that's having water fights with your buddies, chasing each other. Remember, only professionals should do this. You do not do that. And I did mount one to my kayak, and that one's safer to spray since you're in the water. I also used it as a hand wash station, and I even used it to clean off my windshield, so it has quite a number of uses. Hopefully it wears off, but I just can't stop pulling the trigger on this. Oh, and that reminds me, let's check in on those heat swarm dust covers. As you can see, they're still installed and they really did work during a riding day. It prevented the dirt from getting into the seat. As you can see there, my drone is clean and the seat is clean, so it was successful. And thank you for the support. We did get quite a few orders upon release. I think another cool thing about it is you can actually keep the passengers engaged. They're not just sitting there, they can squirt whatever they want. Of course, you don't want to do it when you're driving, but they can probably do it. And you can see there, you can hurry your buddies if they're taking too long. And another cool use, you can clear out the streets from these young punks. You can just give them some freedom squirts. That always helps. And here's a depiction of what you should not be doing because it's very dangerous. This was definitely one of my favorite creations. It gets so many looks on the streets and on the trails. It has so many uses aside from squirting your buddies, and it's easy to make. Remember, if you do want a specific component of the kit, you can order it at heatswarm.com. Oh, and remember, keep it thrifty.